Don't get in my way now.
Welcome back to the GSTL. Today we find out if IM can clinch this 3-person group and advance into the regular season of GSTL. They're up against Fnatic. I am Wolf. With me is Kaldor. Are you ready?
I definitely am. Last season we had some pretty exciting matches between IM and Fnatic, and this time, of course, the Incredible Miracle team wants revenge.
Yeah, they really do. And they actually talked about this quite substantially yesterday in their interview, saying they were worried about Byo because he gave them some problems last time, and we'll see how they prepared today. Looking pretty strong yesterday, sending out a few weaker players, but at the same time still being able to triumph.
True, yesterday was definitely a little bit of a surprise, and the Terran player didn't have a, the Zerg player didn't have a huge chance against Jockg. On the other hand, today they are up against Fnatic. And NS Hosa right now is just struggling a lot. So I think when they are up against Fnatic right now, we will see a lot of different players for Incredible Miracle today. They have to take this one seriously. Yeah, they want to win and want to advance as fast as possible.
They really do. You know, and yesterday I think they showed when they pulled Seed out, they were like, well, we're not messing around. Yep. This guy is really good. No matter who you throw at us in this Hosa, you can't beat Seed. And I think they'll probably save Seed for last today as well. I mean, he seems to be the player who's doing the most consistently right now on IM. Obviously, MVP has looked really strong. He looked strong in the past, but he hasn't looked as strong recently as he has, 6 months ago, for example.
The thing is that NST as well as MVP, they seem to struggle a little bit in the team league. In the individual league, they are always doing really well, but on the other hand, when they play in the team league, quite often they lose without actually winning a game or only win one map, and you would expect a little bit more. But right now we're having a closer look at the teams that are playing today. Here they are in an overview, LGIM and Fnatic.
You can see that both teams are pretty even race distribution. Something to note, of course, is that Fnatic only has 2 players in Code A, 0 Code S players, whereas LGIM has 6 Code S players and so many champions on that team.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. It's actually intense. I think we have 15 champions in total, and the players on LGIM's bench today, they claim 10 of the titles, which is just crazy.
Yeah. Think about the fact that there are more GSL champion pins on those players than there are players on the Fnatic bench. Think about that.
It's actually true.
I mean, that's just something to think about. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. One of the things that you could also see on the sheet is that right now Moon is the captain of the Fnatic team. Just last season it was Todd, but Todd now not in Fnatic any longer. He's currently in France as far as I know. So right now Moon is the designated captain.
Yeah, Moon is, I think, a good captain. He's got a ton of experience. Like Todd, has a lot of Warcraft 3 background to kind of build off of. He's a great leader. He's much older.
It's a little bit funny though, because Moon is one of the players that actually doesn't stay in the Fnatic house. Yeah. He's living with his wife and his kid, of course. So he occasionally goes to the Fnatic house and practices with the players quite a lot, but he's not actually living there.
Yeah. And, Moon, obviously, with so much experience, doing probably the best out of anyone on Fnatic so far in the Team League, which really surprised a lot of people last season with how many wins he was able to get. He looked kind of unstoppable for a while. His ZVZ seemed to be a problem for him sometimes, but he wasn't afraid to try crazy strategies.
Yeah, indeed, he wasn't. But here we have the LGIM team. First, let's talk about Moon a little bit later. Nesty, of course, in the roster, as well as the rest of the players. A little bit uncertain of where to stand.
Yeah. And look at that lineup of players. They've got so many players in general. I mean, that's a lot of players on one team, including MC, of course, with the partnership. And there's no player in that team that looks weak.
Yeah, we have so many great players in this matchup, in this lineup, and this is why exactly this team match today is going to be so cool. And, well, they created a Facebook page just recently. If you're on Facebook and you want to check them out, have a look at facebook.com/IMteam.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Let's take a look at all of their players.
MVP, look at him.
He wants to fix that monitor. He's got to get a good look. He's got to get a good look of what's going on. He wants to see his own team's race distribution here, and we're going to look at it too.
And here they are. We are starting things off with the Zergs, of course, as Nesty is the captain.
Yeah. Nesty, Lucira, and True. True not able to take a win yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. The Kobe player not successful. But they qualify actually next week. And here we have the Terran players. MVP, Happy, and Yoda.
And don't count out the Protoss' seed, the last champion of the GSL, Younghwa, MC from SK, and last but not least, First.
First playing really well yesterday, was actually able to take down 2 players of NSOSA. He won against Brave and against Salvation.
Just such a great lineup of players. We didn't even get to see, for example, Yoda or Happy come out yesterday, but those 2 players just had so much depth to the roster. Even Lucira, he got a smile on his face right now, did not come out yesterday.
Lucira is just this goofy kid. It's kind of hard to describe, but he's on one hand he's so cool, on the other hand he's so completely goofy, especially when he sits in his booth. It looks so funny.
Yeah,
really strong player. And always this smirk on his face. You never know what he's actually thinking about, but he always has this smile on his face. It's a little bit funny.
Yeah, you're exactly right. He's kind of got this twitch as well in the booth. Yeah, that's quite noticeable. Likes to change his hair a lot too, but here is the Fnatic team. Alive, still rocking the dark hair. There's Rain. And this team has gone through so many changes, but they're looking really good, ready to play today.
Bial, of course, standing right between Alive and Moon. He was one of the players that really came through for his team the last time they had to face LGIM in the last season. Can he do it today? We have a lot of good Zergs, Terrans, and of course with also very strong Protoss in the lineup as well.
And, Jay has joined the team, formerly known as Jay, then known as Lovesick, and then known as Jay again. He's still rocking the same glasses, that's how you can recognize him, but a strong Zerg player who we'll likely see today, I think. He's definitely one of the better players to fall out of OGS since it disbanded.
Oh my god, Rain, you need a little bit more sleep.
Yeah, Rain
trained hard all night apparently.
I guess so, yeah. He looks really tired. Well, let's take a look at, of course, the race distribution here. Starting with the Zergs once more, as Moon is the captain. Taking a sip of that water right now. Should be drinking Hot 6, I think.
Moon to the top left, and here we have the roster for Fnatic Raid Call. Let's have a closer look at the players, starting as Wolf already pointed out. With our Zergs, the captain at the top is Fnatic Raid Call Moon. We have Departure, Bial, and of course Jay, aka Lovesick.
And here is our Terran lineup: Alive, Rain, and Nama. Of course, Nama.
This is not Nama. This is Hearthstone, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, that was kind of tricky. Here's Nightend, Oz, and Ares.
Yeah, of course, Nama also in the lineup, as is Hearthstone. Hearthstone, by the way, is not a Terran player, but a Protoss player.
Yeah.
So a little bit of confusion here in the roster.
Yeah, I guess probably some miscommunication there, but I was going to say Nama used to look a little bit different down there.
Yeah, he certainly did. Might have to do with the fact that it wasn't actually Nama's picture.
Yeah. Well, we could see someone like Ares today. I spoke to Juani several times about Ares, asking him why he never comes out. What's the deal with Ares? It looks like he's not here today, as far as I can tell. But Juani told me that he's got a lot of nerve issues, the same as Departure, so he doesn't really feel comfortable putting those players out very often. And, never you want to put a player out who has nerve issues against a team like LGIM. It's just not going to happen. And here's LGIM's starting player, Younghwa.
Yeah, we have Younghwa starting for LGIM, and we could also have a quick peek at the Zerg player that is starting for Fnatic here. Will appear in just a few seconds. Seems to be Lovesick, aka Jay. But here we have our Protoss, so apparently a PvZ in our opening match of the day.
Younghwa is such a great Protoss. He's a patient player. Really loves to defend rather than attack in most cases, and then take the advantages when he has them later on. Sometimes he likes to harass with Warp Prisms. Really good Protoss versus Zerg player as well.
Yeah, and he had a couple of recent achievements, especially when he was in Germany for the Home Story Cup. He was able to take second place in the final. He actually lost to Nurchio, another Zerg player.
Yeah. Looks a little bit, I don't want to say he's nervous, but he's just trying to get his focus right now.
The opening match in the Team League is just always so important. We talked about this quite a bit already, but it's just so true. And here we have a closer look now at the Fnatic player. Starting things off today, Fnatic Raid Call is the Zerg that we've seen earlier when the team made an appearance in the studio. Here he is. It is Lovesick, aka Jay.
Yeah, he's still got these stylish glasses going on. It's slightly different than his last glasses. You can tell the rims do extend to the bottom. I really like this guy's style, not only in what type of glasses he wears, but just in general his play style is very safe, I have noticed, though, he seems a little bit weak to all-ins. He struggles to defend sometimes when Terran players attack him early on. We'll see how he does, though, in the Team League. Not very many games played recently.
And, well, he's pretty good against Protoss. He has a 59 win ratio against Protoss with a sample size of roughly 40 games. Right now we'll find out, of course, who takes the first win today, and our opening map is Cloud Kingdom.
I really love that teams are starting to get their own personalized headsets. You can see Fnatic has theirs here with the Fnatic logo. We've seen StarTale have the Red Bull headsets as well. This is something that I really like to see. That's a little bit of personalization there in the booth. And first map going to be Cloud Kingdom. I'm so excited for this, actually, just to see how Younghwa and Jay have improved. Obviously, Younghwa making a lot more recent results than Jay has, but Jay has been practicing a lot with the Fnatic team. He's gone through a team shift, and when you go through a team shift, things can always be a little bit shaky for a while.
And we are going to find out what exactly the strategies are on Cloud Kingdom. Our map is already loading. The game will start in just a few seconds. This is the second day of the GSTL Season 3, and we have once again LGIM, this time up against Fnatic. And if they are winning today, they will advance to the next round. We have 3 teams in this group, and only 2 of them will advance. But let's get things started with Younghwa up against Lovesick at the GSTL.
3, 2, 1, go! Feed my motor!
Starting to the bottom left of the map, in red, we have the LGIM Protoss player. His idea is...
LGIM Younghwa!
Starting player for the incredible Miracle team, Protoss. Yesterday it was first, today it is Younghwa. And he is up against the Zerg player. Starting to the top right for Fnatic, Raid Call, a former OGS player.
Fnatic Raid Call J!
He has shown some weaknesses, as I said earlier, to fast aggression, but I don't think that's what we're going to see from Younghwa. It's really not his style to attack early. In fact, I expect a Nexus first from him. We'll get in here and force the pool before hatch. Always very common to see in this matchup. Very rarely will Zerg actually try to go hatch first. Probe's always going to be there to deny him anyways.
It's pretty hard on a 2-player map because you will always expect a probe to be there in order to cancel your attempt of getting an early hatch in this game. And then there's the danger of being cannon rushed by your opponent. And Younghwa is not starting things too greedy. He actually starts with his Forge here, which also gives him the option of using cannons if his opponent is getting an early hatchery, which is not the case here. He already spotted it with a probe, but decides to go for the Forge first anyways.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Despite our expectations, he goes Forge first, and he's actually going to pylon block here, which will slightly delay his Nexus, but more importantly, it really significantly delays the hatchery of Jay. Jay is going to be very annoyed with this. There's not much he can do. And actually, he can cancel this pylon if he wants. He's even going to be able to deny the 3rd hatch as he spots the drone heading over there. This is so annoying for Jay because, you know, normally if you get pylon blocked, you just take that 3rd hatchery, but he's even being denied here. This is just such a frustrating thing.
And of course, in the Team League, what is really important is just how you train your players and what kind of player you send out next. And yesterday, we've seen True come out in a matchup that is not really his best, and he was not able to succeed. The IM coach actually released a statement later on Team Liquid where he talked about that he wants to give his lesser-known players the chance to prove themselves, the chance to actually make a little bit of a splash, and also give them the experience that they need in order to improve for the future. So that's something that has to be considered here as well. But against a team like Fnatic that gave him a lot of troubles in the last season, I think that LGIM really needs to show off their best players early on. And right now, look at how cheeky actually Younghwa is with his probe. Sneaking in there. Is he actually trying to place down a pylon? He knows fully well that right now Jay can't see him.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna stay in there and then try to scout for a gas timing. The potential of pyloning though is there for sure. He could do some really sneaky stuff with that. that.
That's sometimes really scary, you know, as a Protoss player, of course, you're just happy if your probe isn't scouted at all and you can have a closer look, but at some point if you realize, well, my opponent doesn't scout me and I could actually get away with it, you might be tempted to use that pylon anyways and then start to warp in units. It can give you a really fast victory in a game where you certainly wouldn't expect it, so let's see what exactly he's going to do. He's going to hide the probe for quite a while right now, but before he moves out, he might actually just place down a pylon if he's not spotted.
Yeah, that's very true. The thing is, if he places a pylon and then moves the probe out, the Zerg will definitely check for pylons because he'll be like, whoa, where did that probe come from? There might be a pylon.
Oh, look at that. I love it. Do you see that? He sent out a second probe to actually tempt him, to trick him.
Yeah, not only does this trick him, but it also gives him the extra information that the third hatchery is there. He verifies this, and with the +1 coming down, it looks like we may see 4 gateway zealot pressure, and it could even occur within the main base with that potential forward pylon that you were talking about earlier there. This is just such a scary thing as a Zerg player, and I really love how careful Youngwon was with this probe. He kept it behind the mineral line, sneaked it around the Lings when the Lings ran to look for his probe that he thought was elsewhere. This is actually just really cool by him. And if this strategy actually works, I don't even want to call this a strategy. If this opportunity gets taken, then it's great to see a player utilize something so sneaky like this.
The last time I've seen this was at DreamHack when Mana was able to do it versus Cytoplasm. He also had a probe in his opponent's base, and he actually just tried to scout. And I talked with him later about what happened, and he's like, well, at some point I realized that he didn't know that I have another probe on the map, and I just try, well, what the hell, just go for it, just try it, and it worked well. So let's see what exactly Youngwa is able to accomplish with this. At this point, he's transitioning into a Stargate, whereas we have the 3 bases now for Jay.
I think he may do a Void Ray Zealot attack possibly here, but the Stargate timing is a little bit weird though. He may just attack with 3 gateways in the main base and then switch into Stargate quite normally, but it's hard to say actually really what his plan is going to be.
And there's the pylon.
Yeah, he's definitely going to do it, man. This is actually so cool. Wow, this could do so much damage. The Roach Warren coming down at normal timing. The Overlord spots the gates, but he's not going to be expecting a pylon in his main, especially considering there's actually another pylon near the third.
This is so cool for Youngwa, and at the same time so bad for Jay. That's one of the things that you never expect. You think you know where exactly your opponent is going to attack, and suddenly you find a few Zealots in your main base. It's like, what happened? Where did they come from?
Yeah, and I think that's exactly what we're going to see. He's got the gates ready. The 3 Zealots warping into the main. Here they come. He goes right for the mineral line. He's going to get some drones here, and Jay not reacting right away. It's if he doesn't even understand what's going on.
He was fighting at the bottom left, and now suddenly he has those Zealots in his main base. He's like, what's going on here? What just happened? Where did they come from?
He's not microing his Lings against the Stalkers at the third base as well, so he's losing units on both areas. And he's going to lose the Queen for sure. So many more drones going down here. A ton of damage by Youngwon. He's not done yet. He sends his Stalkers into the third base again.
He's completely overwhelmed by what just happened, and in total 12 workers already taken down. This is incredible. This is so good for Youngwa. And now he sees the pylon, but he doesn't attack it.
Yeah, he actually hesitates quite a bit. Now he finds it, but...
And look at the composition for Youngwa now. He actually goes not for a Void Ray, no, he hides Phoenixes. Yeah, and he just took down a Queen. There are only 2 Queens left.
Exactly, you're so right, and this is part of the plan now. I think that once he realized he was going to be able to get this pylon off and target down that Queen, he knew that using Void Rays would, could be useful, but using Phoenix is just so much more dangerous. He's already got the robotics facility up as well.
He will move out now. He has 4, and he only needs 4 to kill a Queen, and he will move out, and there it is.
And he's got the robotic support bay up as well. This is a multi-step process because now he knows, okay, so you don't have enough Queens to defend this. You're going to have to probably make a Hydro Ascent, so I'm already preparing with my robotics bay.
And here he kills the first Overlord immediately, and now, of course, Jay knows exactly what's coming, but can he prepare in time? The Spore Crawler is already being built, but he will definitely lose a Queen or 2.
Now, the scary thing for Youngwa, though, of course, is that there's a Roach attack coming to his natural. He's making a Void Ray, which is going to help out quite a bit, as well as some additional Zealots here, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. He should have enough to defend. The robotic support bay is almost done. He's going to take out the Queen here in the main once again.
Yeah, he waits a little bit until all of the Phoenixes are there so that he can take down the Queen with 1 lift, and that's exactly what happens. The Queen dies, that's the second one, and he is still on the hunt. He's moving in and taking down another one. I can actually not believe that Jay did not move the Queen to the Spore Crawler.
And Jay is just, he's got his units to the south for some reason. He's not even really utilizing them. He knows he can't really attack. He's so flustered right now, starting to lose drones as well. And, well, I mean, this game is starting to get out of control for him. He's losing another Overlord. He's actually going to find himself supply blocked in just a second. 1 more Overlord will pop out, but he's not going to be able to make any more units, really.
He gets 3 additional queens. Now he's back on 3 queens, but the situation for Yonghwa is obviously a good one. He did quite a lot of damage with both attacks already, and now he transitions straight into Colossi. Extended thermal lance already being researched, but those Zerglings will be able to force a Cancelier most likely. Well, with good force fields, he needs at least 1, 2, there we are.
Yep.
Able to save it.
Grabs those force fields, and you know the Hydro Stun is coming up now, but he's already got a Colossus. And he's got a second one on the way with range halfway done. This is exactly the plan that Yonghwa wanted. He actually wanted to force these Hydralisks, and everything is going his way. He's now got the 3rd base. We're at the 12:30 mark, and Yonghwa is ahead in supply against a Zerg player.
Look at the bottom right, the picture that we have of Jay. He actually looks like he's trying to dodge the next few attacks, like physically, in his booth.
He looks a little bit scared, really. Yeah, you're so right. This is a terrible position for him in every way possible.
Everything just went according to Yonghwa's plan. He saw this opportunity to build a pylon in his opponent's base, and he just went for it. He killed a lot of Harvesters. He's now not only taking down the Overlords, but also the Overseer. Those Phoenixes just proved to be so helpful to him. He's everywhere. He killed 3 queens. He was able to take down Overlords. A few drones were killed as well. Just look at the resources lost here. 3,000 against 1,000. And he's not done yet. He's gonna kill another Overlord here.
Yeah, he really will. Gets away, still all of his Phoenixes alive. He's going to see the Hydralisks popping out, which is going to make him really happy. And if he catches 1 or 2 Hydralisks isolated, he can actually kill those.
And just think about how many minerals Jay actually had to use in order to get all these Spore Crawlers. I mean, it's not only 3, he has like 6, 7 Spore Crawlers in total by now.
Plus all the Queens he had to remake and all the Overlords he had to remake as well. It's so many minerals down the drain. And if you look at his resource, he's got 800 gas in the bank, but not very many minerals to actually utilize those that gas with. So really shows in how many extra Overlords he's had to make. He's even using the Phoenixes to clean up the watchtowers. Great play here by Yonghwa.
Look at the timing for the Spire. If Yonghwa tries to the timing and realizes that his opponent is just now getting the Spire, if Yonghwa attacks now with 3 Colossi, with range done, with +2 halfway done, and this army, he can actually do a lot of damage, because there's nothing in the composition that Jay uses that can really take down like this amount of Colossi. There are only 3, and there will be a 4th in just a few seconds.
Yeah. And he sees the amount of Hydralisks that are out, and he's going to be really happy about this, knowing that off creep with 3 Colossi, with +2 and Blink all being done, he can easily fight this army.
This is not Heart of the Swarm. We don't have the Hydralisk speed upgrade just yet.
That's exactly what I was about to say, man. You're on the same page.
Yeah, he doesn't even have the Hive Tech that he needs, which is, by the way, in my opinion, a little bit weird. I think Hydra speed should be on Lair Tech.
Well, we can discuss this a bit more later. Great force fields here. Actually, look at that. Perfectly spaced. Amazing, in fact, with how fast he executed those. And now this Hydralisk army is T-E-A-D dead.
They can't escape. They just cannot escape. They're too slow. Blink will be done in a second, and then he can even chase them down.
Yeah,
by using this ability. Exactly, that's exactly what's going to happen. There it is, the blink, and he's like, hey, where are you going?
Yeah, he's like, if you turn around, my Colossi will kill you, so doesn't matter. He's even got the Stargate play coming from the left side as well to come and even do a little bit of a flank. This is going to help him against a small amount of corruptors. He's going to face initially 7 of them, now an 8th one on the way.
He's going to lose the Overseer too. It's just too much damage dealt already. And he will be supply blocked if he doesn't pay attention. Right now he still has enough Overlords to make this work. But the problem is there is no bank for him. He's just now building the Corruptors. There are not enough of them. He has +2/+2 on his way, but the +2 attack upgrade for our Protoss is already done. And here comes the next engagement. The force fields are decent. He blinks in, takes down one of the Corruptors. The rest of them trying to compete, to contest with the Colossi, but it's just not enough DPS.
Yeah, there's just way too much Protoss army here. The early advantage that Yonghwa had, he took it and ran with it. Now blinking forward with some of his Stalkers just to check if it's safe, and he's just going to end Jay here and take the first point on the scoreboard. Similar to his Protoss teammate first yesterday, Yonghwa takes game 1.
Yeah, definitely. This is way too much momentum now for Yonghwa. GG. Game number 1 ends in favor of Incredible Miracle. Yonghwa with a victory. Cloud Kingdom.
These LGIM Protosses, man, they're looking really good.
Yeah. They're looking pretty good. Yesterday was actually first and seed, the only players who were able to secure points for LGIM, and there are so many strong Protoss players on their bench.
Just well prepared, I feel, by Yonghwa. The transition he made. Who knows what his initial plan was, but when he saw the opportunity with the probe, he took it.
It's of course always a little bit unlucky for a Zerg player if something like this happens. You don't really prepare for a lot of Zealots just appearing out of nowhere in your main base. You really think, okay, he's going to attack my third or he's going to attack my natural. You have your scouts in position. You try to make sure that whatever comes your way that you are ready for it. But suddenly being stabbed in the back by a few Zealots, that's something that you never want to happen. And we actually saw how Yonghwa was willing to sell the idea of no probe being present on the map to his opponent by sending out another probe. Because let's just think about this for a second. If there wasn't a second probe just scouting somewhere at the third, Jay would have realized, well, something's wrong here.
No,
there should be a scout. Why is he not trying to see if I have a third base? Why is he not trying to sneak into the natural or into the main base? That was exactly what Yonghwa wanted to achieve, and he did it well.
And he even knew before he made the forward pylon how this process could work, how he could transition into the Phoenixes perfectly while doing the damage to the Queens. Then going into the robotic support bay, he made the robotic support bay before even an observer. As soon as the robotics was done, he was like, boom, robotic support bay, I got this planned out perfectly. It's a multi-step process, and every step of the way, he did things right. Now, what does Fnatic do? They send Moon out this early. They like to send him out early. And
I think so.
I think so, man. There it is.
It is Moon. He sat to the top left earlier. He moved to the bottom right. So I don't know if the distance is a little bit shorter to the booth. I don't know for whatever reason, but it is him. It is the 5th race. We have another Zerg player up against Yonghwa. And actually, I think Fnatic just thought about it a little bit. Do we send out Rain? Do we send out Alive? And then they were like, well, don't send out a Terran to do a Zerg player's job. So let's just move in with Moon and see if the captain can secure another win.
It's great for the team morale if the captain can do this as well. And Moon has shown great Zerg versus Protoss Mutalisk play, in fact. And I think he might pick a map like Daybreak. That's a map he's done Mutalisk on quite often.
You know, the last time that we've seen him actually picked Entombed Valley and went for this 6-pool strategy that failed because his opponent was able to spot his position on the first... Yeah, on the first starting position that he sent his drone probe over to.
And that's it was a cool strategy because it eliminated Entombed Valley as well, so no Protosses could use it against the other Zergs of Fnatic. We're going to take a 5-minute break. When we get back, we'll see if Moon can tie the score on a map that we don't yet know.
She gets just what she wants, and then she leaves.